Hello? Everything, sorry, I just kind of noticed it disconnected for a second there. Just making sure everything's still good. Let me actually stop this. Okay. Hello? Hello? Anybody there? Everything still good? One second, let me make sure something didn't just go wrong here. Great, now I'm worried that everything just went wrong on this. Okay. Did did stream drop on me or something? Sorry, just trying to make sure everything's alright. Okay. Alright, well, just kind of get on to this. Hello, hello, everybody. Yeah, normally I'm. Well, I also just realized how long I've been having this run. But yeah, normally I'd be sitting there doing like a game or something. Just brief little intro before jumping straight into it. But something I've been kind of thinking about for a while, and I'm kind of noticing more people are kind of asking about is, just people are kind of like, just curious, why I started streaming, what I'm trying to accomplish with it, all those kinds of things. And so I kind of figured today I'd probably just kind of, in a way, kind of, tell you how I ended up, kind of becoming and deciding to be a streamer, VTuber. Um, where it kind of seems like, we're currently at and whatnot. And, what I actually do wish to actually accomplish with this. Um, and I did kind of briefly end up covering some of this stuff when I did my original debut, which I kept thinking that was back in June, but I ended up realizing as I was going over some stuff today, it was actually end of July. So I'm a little newer at this than I thought. uh, so I'm really nervous, because it just kind of feels a little. Oh, okay. Hey, James. Yeah, I don't know what ended up kind of happening there for a moment where I was in there just like trying to make sure one more thing was good, and all of a sudden I saw that said like the stream dropped or something. So for a second I was worried I just kind of screwed everything up, but it all looks like things are going okay right now with how everything's running. But yeah, sorry, like I said, just kind of a little nervous ended up going into this. Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Uh, well, I was gonna say first thing, I don't know if I've actually really shown people like a real good look into my model because half the time you're just seeing him, roughly like I don't know this size corner. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, we kind of go over like the model a little bit, kind of what I end up doing here. Um, as kind of might notice in my channel description, I'm kind of described as an augmented being, um, which I have obviously, human parts. Then, as you can kind of tell with the giant, phoenix wings, uh, you know, part phoenix, dragon horns, wolf ears, uh, you know, dragon arms, kind of thing. Then, most people actually don't realize, wolf legs and a demon tail. Because half the time those aren't even on screen. Oop, wrong thing. But, yeah, I'm kind of a bunch of random elements kind of thrown together, and then, well, also, you know, generally the crest that kind of like just adorns my chest, kind of thing. Which, in my lore, actually serves as a significant, decently, significant kind of thing. Which I will end up pointing out my uh, lore that I end up writing up. And you'll have to probably understand why some people think I'm probably a little nuts with, that, because I know intro, like the lore is supposed to be something just generally kind of simple, and we'll get to that. But, uh, I'm, oh, and then, one other feature that I tend to like different kind of like eye effect kind of things that a lot of models end up getting. And, so I kind of figured why not end up kind of doing something a little interesting with like the eye color. uh, as you might be able to notice, each eye has like four different colors in each of the, well, for each colors around like the thing. My brain's going blank there, but around the eye, and then each of the pupils is a different color. But anyways, I'm rambling. And to just generally kind of give an idea of why I ended up becoming a VTuber, oop, as I almost knock over my coffee. Uh, sorry, just need a little sip of my coffee. Because I'm just kind of realizing I probably should, get a little more comfortable because I'm probably going to be sitting here chatting for a little bit. Um, and it kind of goes back to a somewhat painful time in my life. Because, well, I go back. I'm trying to think how far back would we going here, because, I mean, because of a big kind of event that in my past, I ended up kind of going into somewhat of somewhat of like a spiral, you could kind of say, downward spiral, and life ends up, dealing us a tough hand sometimes, and it's really hard sometimes to try to, recover from that. But while I was going through these hard times, and I kind of mentioned that, well, I think this was roughly around like I think I said around like September of last year. Uh, like, like I said, a little nervous kind of, explaining this kind of stuff. Um, okay. I'm sorry, man. Give me one moment. I just kind of like lost track what I was saying. Oh, well, yeah, before, all this kind of stuff back around that time, I actually wasn't even, you know, really familiar with VTubers too much. I mean, the closest representative I had, well, like, closest, like, person I ended up watching around that time, that was, uh, well, nowadays actually does consider himself a VTuber, but, it was, as some people may end up knowing, Nuxtaku. I watched a lot of his videos on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, so he generally was like my slight intro into VTubers, but before that, I really didn't end up like watching them or anything like that. But as kind of like time ended up going by, and like Southern said, roughly around like September, I was sitting there trying to find some way to feel, better, kind of try to pull myself back together after, life had started kind of falling apart on me. And strangely, I was at like this gathering of some friends and all that kind of stuff. Generally just doing whatever kind of thing, having a couple of drinks, just trying to chill out, relax, you know, vibe, all that kind of stuff. Uh, but since I was already kind of down in the dumps, it was kind of weird because it seemed like a lot of stuff just kind of was dulled out, and I didn't really care anymore, kind of thing. It was, well, like I said, there said, a deep kind of depression kind of thing. I was basically just kind of like numb to the world, and most stuff kind of sounded like, well, I think like the comparison some people sit there and make is, I think it'll be like the Charlie Brown kind of thing, where like the adults are just talking, and it's just like wah, 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 wah. Well, strangely, while at this party, I ended up hearing something in the background of some music playing, and it just kind of caught me off guard because I was like, wait, what did that just end up saying? And strange enough, this was actually my introduction to a little more VTubers, which, as some people may end up kind of knowing out there, because she's relatively popular. 1 second, I got a cough. But yeah, a lot of people will probably end up like knowing. It turned out to be one of Numi or uh, Nimene's music, like one of her songs. Uh, and well, I'm not gonna say exactly which song it was, but I mean it's 3 letters that she did a cover of. But and that just for some reason that was something that just kind of like all of a sudden just like kind of caught me off guard. So kind of woke me up a bit, and kind of like shifted my mood slightly. And I kind of was talking with some people that found out who like put up on the screen, and I was like asking who was that, or do they do any other kind of music. And yeah, this was my introduction into VTubers. Well, by this point, the only thing I was really ended up doing was I was like basically just going home. Uh, like basically I'd just be working and going home, and back and forth kind of thing. I was even getting some very bad insomnia, and so generally I end up needing something to fill my time. Well, at this time I was still watching stuff on YouTube, and I decided just kind of like check out some of her channels, which sitting there kind of seeing someone like looking back where they kind of started, where they are now, kind of just seeing how everything kind of shifted in their life. It was something that just kind of re-motivated me. Everybody's ran into some terrible times. you know why not just kind of try to grow from it? Basically what it just kind of gave me like a little, essentially like a kick in the ass to end up trying to remotivate myself. But then as watching some of her content, you start seeing who like they collab with and all that kind of stuff. And so I end up starting to get introduced to other VTubers out there. But still around this time, I really didn't even. I was only watching like content from YouTube of what everybody was like doing and all that kind of stuff. Well, so since I didn't have anything else kind of going on at the time, kind of just ended up exploring into that whole bunch. And after time kind of passed and all that kind of stuff, end up discovering more and more kind of people and all that kind of stuff. Well, I still kind of felt like I needed something to kind of, an outlet for, kind of just trying to let my anger out or something like that. And, since I'd been listening to Numi's music, I'd already started to, kind of reawaken my singing voice. Which, I mean, back then I actually had a lighter of a voice. I actually don't even think I can really sing in the same volume as back then. So, I mean, it was somewhere around like the. Oh, damn, yeah, I can't do that right now. Like I said, a lot lighter, and well, I'll kind of get to why I can't do that anymore in a little bit. But something I also used to remember kind of doing, and since when my brain started reawakening to music, I started listening to a lot more, and kind of just getting a general feel back to music and all that kind of stuff. And well, I started enjoying some like hard rock and metal and stuff like that. So I kind of was like, well, I remember trying to do like the metal kind of like like deep speaking ro- uh, yells and all that kind of stuff. But anytime I tried to do it, I would sit there and figure out, well, it kind of hurt my throat because I didn't understand how to do that correctly, which is how a lot of people actually hurt their like vocal cords and stuff like that trying to do it. But around this time, I actually got introduced to like, well, I got like suggested videos from Obi Katie Cat, uh, and she does a lot of like metal cover kind of things. Well, one of them she explained how the metal voice kind of goes and all that. And how like a lot of people sit there and think you're trying to do it through your actual like vocal cords and all that kind of stuff. When no, it's more like in kind of like you using your non. You have like the vocal cords you use, and then you also I don't remember the best way to sit there and explain it, but she kind of just explained like the technique and all that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people end up kind of knowing, well, easiest way to kind of like represent it is when you like exhale really hard, like well, there's methods in which when you expand like your uh, kind of like expand out your like neck or like throat a little bit to try to like deepen it. I know I'm getting like really bad at like explaining this and all that kind of stuff. One sec. But yeah, there was. I feel kind of weird. I'm gonna be kind of like explaining it slightly, just because I'm gonna reference it here in a little bit, anyways. But uh, yeah, like I was saying, like a lot of people end up realizing it from like the exhale kind of thing, like well, you see, after figuring out how to essentially kind of like expand or adjust the area around your throat, you can start lowering it. And well, after a certain while, got a little used to kind of doing that and somewhat sing along with songs, even if they didn't even match the genre in kind of like the metal voice kind of thing. Kind of did end up serving as I was kind of mentioning before going off in this tangent, you know, find like an outlet to kind of just let out the anger a little bit or something like that that was, from what I was dealing with at the time. But yeah, so strangely enough, a little while kind of goes on. It's starting to feel a little better, but you know, I kind of forgot I needed to get out of the house, go do something, and I ended up running into some buddies that I used to, kind of jokingly do a little bit of like, singing kind of stuff back in like high school with, and we just kind of like start chatting a bit, and they sat there and mentioned they were still doing the music kind of stuff. Uh, so we kind of like just went back to like I went to go out with them over at where they normally do some like recordings and all that kind of stuff. Just do some karaoke kind of stuff. Just mess around. Well, and like as we were sitting there, kind of just going to do that, I picked a random song that I had ended up jokingly, singing along, at home kind of thing, just in like the metal voice kind of thing. And all of a sudden, I realized as they were just kind of staring at me, like, what just happened there? They're like, I was like a little afraid for a second there, but then they're like, dude, when the hell did you learn to do that? And I was like, it's just been kind of something I've been doing as an outlet. Well, turns out they needed a backup vocalist. And, this actually allowed them to, kind of do a little bit more that they've actually been trying to do with their music for a while there. So, and it started to turn out that, I started off just singing with, some of my old buddies, helping them out with some recordings and stuff like that. And after a while, we ended up gaining some attention. We ended up having like this little, well, a smaller kind of uh, like company sit there and like just send us an email and be like, hey, we noticed we got a hold of some of your music, and we noticed that you didn't end up having, company managing you. How would you guys like to end up coming in for like an audition kind of thing? It's like, okay, why not? I mean, as I was sitting there, kind of mentioned, I'm probably not really given a good scope of like time span here, but this is kind of happening around uh, February-ish kind of thing. Like I ended up running into them and starting to sing with them like in October last year. And then after like 4 months and just recording a whole bunch of random freaking songs, it like kind of just had like different ones that they just kept like releasing. Uh, they started ended up getting like traction, and so actually got like had some higher ups kind of notice them, want to sign them on. Well, this was a little complicated still around the time because I still had a full time job, and sometimes when they wanted to do these, I had work. But for them to actually do this, they needed me there. So, and there was a couple times there where when it came to something really important, it's like, well, I would already kind of plan it, but when I'm getting calls when I'm in the middle of work and they're like, hey, things got a little screwed up here. We need to do this like, tomorrow. And it's like, what? But luckily my work was understanding enough and I had I was able to end up, taking the days off that I needed to. Um, but something around this same time that I was kind of messing around with because not only could I sit there and do, the like metal kind of singing, I still was, had my higher vocal kind of range and all that kind of stuff. So I started doing something that apparently a lot of people suggest against, trying to figure out how to essentially layer the two on top of my kind of like have both going at the same time kind of thing, trying to sing in a higher pitch while uh, releasing out like the, lower pitch. That's because, it was kind of a factor of I'm using my regular vocal cords on like because you have like vocal and non-vocal chords and all that kind of stuff. So I was trying to sit there and do my regular singing while doing uh, the like metal roar kind of thing. Well, around the same time, I was actually watching one of uh, well, by this point, because yeah, around March I believe, since we were starting to get a little more popularity and doing stuff like that, and also we occasionally did like little random like stream kind of things through like their account and all that kind of stuff. So I had started actually using Twitch myself. And so since I was on Twitch, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna follow all these people that I used to watch on YouTube so I can actually get to their live streams. Strange enough, as I was watching one of Ovi Katie Cat's like live streams, she was doing a collab with members of Mythos, which back then was uh, Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, and Apollo. Well, I had already kind of found out about Zeus Mythos because I'd already watched a collab with, uh, I'd already been watching Porcelain Maid when on YouTube, so I was like, yeah, I went to go watch one of his things where he was doing a Monster Hunter Wilds collab with Zeus, and I ended up he had to go get like food, and I think it's kind of funny because it was technically my first uh, sub on Twitch. I know I'm going sidetrack here, but uh, yeah, like he had to go grab something, and end up eating, and I was like, yeah, I'll just kind of pop over to Zeus's channel real quick, just say hi to people. All I do is go in there. I was like, hi everybody, how's it going? And instantly I just see a whole bunch of highs, and then someone just gives me a sub. I was like, ah, well, hello to you all too. But yeah, so I'd already kind of known about the Mythos group a little bit there, just from Zeus. But so I was kind of one of those things where it's like I'm already kind of watching around, just trying to get different perspectives of the game they're playing. And I stopped in Apollo's, and apparently she had some kind of I can't remember. I think it was a donathon, not a subathon, something like that. I popped in there and just kind of jokingly chatted around for a bit, and I was having so much fun hanging out in there that I actually didn't even realize the collab had already ended. Just kind of like chatting with the community, whatever goofy kind of stuff. Apollo was in there saying, "Yeah, I didn't even realize the collab had already ended," and I was like, "Oh, whatever, I'm having fun here, kind of hang out." And there was like a certain part during like when she went to go do karaoke and all that kind of stuff. Which, oh my god, I got something to say. She's got a great singing voice. um, but yeah, like during that collab, she ended up going to do some singing, and she sang this song, Hallelujah, by, I can't actually remember who it was actually from, because it was a little while ago. Even though I've actually sung that song a couple of times, just because it was around that time that I actually realized, while I had been doing the metal singing, I, like, even though I'd only been doing it for a little bit, I actually could access a lower volume. Like, instead of being higher in like the soprano range, I could go into the baritone range. Because, I'd already started getting kind of used to like singing all that kind of stuff, so it's like she was singing and, you know, I randomly just started singing along, and, that's when, kind of realized, I was just about to try to give an example, but I'm like, my throat's dry. Okay, one second here. Ho, 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 ho. Oh. So for some reason, my brain came up with the idea of, trying to also focus on trying to do something with that too. So now that I'm traveling back to what I was originally saying, uh, so since I was already kind of messing around with doing, using like my soprano level of like singing kind of thing with the metal voice, for some reason I tried to also layer in my baritone, which, strangely, I kind of noticed I was able to end up doing on some level, but I really didn't think it was a great idea. But I know I'm just kind of like stirring up a lot. It's just, I, I don't know. I've kind of been feeling like I've been wanting to do something like this for a while. It's just laying this all out kind of feels a little scary. Uh, okay, so around this time we had been recording a song that I was actually mixing around between the three different vocal layers, like, vocal vocalizations I had and all that kind of stuff. And there was briefly one part in the song where all three were used, because I noticed I could end up doing that generally for roughly probably no more than like 5 to 10 seconds. But I actually didn't realize in the recording that it was kind of like they did a slight edit where they end up putting two of them right back to back kind of thing, because there was a repeated line in it, and I normally had to shift down or shift over to just one of the other ones for the line. So, well, line, it was more just kind of like a kind of thing, where layering all three on top of each other. Well, apparently that was the song that ended up getting this like studio's attention, but they didn't understand how we ended up doing that, because none of the vocals seemed like they lined up in particular to kind of one or another kind of person, so they thought it was something that was audio generated in. And I had to sit there and explain, it's like, no, it's just something that I kind of figured out I could kind of do. They didn't believe me. Well, when we were sitting there listening back to the kind of thing and they were sitting there questioning it, I actually at that point suddenly realized that, okay, they kind of extended this a little bit. Well, it's like generally the reason I drop down a vocal kind of on, drop off one is because it's like I need to kind of generally cut off like the, like metal roar kind of thing just because that's causing extra vibration across those vocal cords while trying to layer all this kind of stuff together. But for some reason, since I was being stubborn and wanted to prove a point, that's where we end up having an issue. And I'm realizing my mouth isn't syncing up correctly. Okay. Sorry, I ended up kind of getting a little slumped in the chair and it wasn't picking up my mouth correctly because I was like kind of underneath the camera. um, so we went to perform it, essentially right there in their studio to, kind of show them. And I'm like, I think I can manage to end up, doing this, properly. For, I could probably end up pulling this off live. It's like, it's just expanded a little bit extra longer, and what's the big deal? So we go and singing it. Everything's going all right. And this producer's also realizing, okay, the person that we thought was singing this part is actually just the backup of that one or something like that. Because I was essentially singing, like, they end up having a different understanding of people's vocals because since I was doing this as a backup kind of thing, I was kind of doing somewhat of like a backup singer kind of line with a couple of different members because it was me and two other members that did the singing. Because, they'd like trade off, between who's singing what and whatnot. Well, it all of a sudden came to the part that they were trying to figure out because they're like, okay, it doesn't sound like this person's voice, doesn't sound like that person's voice, you know, and they just knew that I could end up doing, like the roar kind of thing a little bit, just because that it's kind of like layered back and the whole kind of thing. Anyways, um, well, he got confused, but all of a sudden, the other two stopped singing completely, and I did the three layered kind of vocal there. Well, because I was trying to prove the point, I didn't realize I kind of pressed a little harder than normal to sing longer. After about 15 seconds, my I felt a sharp pain in my throat, and then I could not speak very well for the rest of the day. Well, strangely enough, they did like the song, but they're like, well, we want to actually have this other group that we were signed, like we already signed, sing it. If we buy the song off you guys. They were a little hesitant at first, but they're like, well, technically this was just like a little random project thing we just recently were kind of messing around with. And at this point, I thought I probably screwed something up royally with my throat, so it's like, we can't actually sing that really anymore. Um, so we kind of just negotiated a price for, the song. And, well, after, I'm sitting there kind of selling it and whatnot, they basically asked us, well, what we could end up doing for you is we could, like, we don't know if we can sign you on as a band, but how about we keep you guys as, like, a list for backup? Kind of like uh, if someone needs, like, an extra guitarist or drummer, uh, a backup vocalist kind of thing, stuff like that. So we're like, it's better than nothing kind of thing. We sold the song And now we have this opportunity to, serve as like, backup kind of vocalist kind of people and, instrumentalists, all that kind of stuff. Sorry. So, you know, time keeps kind of going by, but I'm kind of noticing I'm starting to have more and more issues with the insomnia kind of things. And we kept going to the doctors and they're trying to figure out what was going on with that and all that kind of stuff. See if we could figure out something. And there was even a point during like this whole process that I went roughly, I think it was like 76 days with, as far as I know, not a wink of sleep. And there was a couple times there where I would lose track of a couple, well, probably around like 10 to 15 seconds, but a lot of times, my memory wasn't really serving that great anyways because I was constantly go to work, come home, eat something, jump on the computer, open up this thing or that thing, do this work, do that work, write something. It's like I couldn't sleep anyways, so I found ways to just keep myself occupied. Do random, like, extra work and all that kind of stuff. And, well, as time kind of went on, as I'm, doing all this work and, you know, whatnot, I'd end up having, like, streams on in the background, all that kind of stuff. So I'm generally just getting introduced to random people, through Twitch as I'm just kind of, like, working and doing all this other kind of random stuff. Uh, sorry. Throat keeps getting dry. I don't think I'm used to talking this much. Okay. So where was it? Oh, yeah. So as time's in there going on, uh, like we end up getting like random offers and stuff like that for doing different performances and all that kind of stuff. And I even got offered like a couple offers to uh, sign on with some people, but a lot of them required me to move, and I feel really close to my family, like my direct family, and I may not live exactly close to them at the moment, but moving for like many states away from them, I then not really knowing if I'd have any way to come back to visit them for like several years because I don't really know exactly how busy things are going to be there, what all that I'd need to end up getting set up, all that kind of stuff. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to actually, see my family. And yeah, cool. I could be sitting there earning money, probably, gaining, some popularity and all that kind of stuff. But it's like I said, I'm very family oriented. Well, not, I prefer to end up being really close to my family. That's all I'm really trying to say. So I'm like, I don't think I can do that. I mean, there are great offers, but it's like, I don't think I can do that because I'd have to basically just uproot my whole life. And I'm not gonna just take that leap of faith kind of thing. That didn't seem like it was something worth, trying to do. I mean, there's a good chance that sometime in the, I might end up regretting that or something like that, but at the time it felt like that was the right choice, which so far, I mean, I haven't really seen any issues with that decision. Well, not too much, I should say. um, but also, I strangely started getting offers for, well, not only, singing, but I started getting some voice acting requests. And it didn't seem correct to me at the time, but as more and more people keep sitting there telling me, apparently I got a very nice voice. But not much of it seemed like it was for my normal voice. A lot of it was like uncredited, your like extras. We need like vocals for, you know, this kind of like boss creature, or this character needs to, be able to do this, or we need this monster sound. Yeah, that was real fun when I started getting asked to do monster sounds. Which I get it. You need something for like a demon or like a dragon, some kind of beast or something like that. Someone that's got, practice and, well, since I didn't just leave it to, that like just singing regular like metal stuff. Like I said, I started singing whatever random song I felt like in that. So I started actually getting used to kind of just speaking in like the more like metal kind of roarish kind of way. So yeah, they'd end up you know ask me to end up making voices for, like I said, stuff like demons. One time a dragon. But I mean, so that was just something kind of like a little extra, kind of doing. I mean, I honestly don't even know what, like, if any of that stuff actually is being used or whatnot, because a lot of it just, I believe, was just kind of like indie kind of stuff. Uh, but yeah, I mean, during this whole time, one of the things that kind of came up, because I started talking with one of the people that was like really interested in just trying to help me actually get out there, kind of thing. Because I don't really know, it kind of seemed like they felt like I needed to be like more widely available because there was other uh, groups and stuff like that that do kind of like metal music and stuff like that that could end up using my help and all that kind of stuff. And I started coming up with this random idea since, well, I don't really want to be plastered across the planet, and I can't actually really don't really have the funds to sit there and travel each time that I need to do all these kind of things. Like we came up with an idea of, well, most of the time people are using uh, kind of like monitors and stuff like that for effects, or camera viewing on uh, the group and all that kind of stuff. Why not just get me an avatar and I could just appear up on the screen? Just to kind of explain to people, that might be a little confused that, I'm not, able to sit there and make it there, but I'm here to lend my voice. And, even just kind of serve as like some kind of background kind of theme, essentially, kind of thing to whatever group, kind of hired me on. Well, there's quite a few people that actually were kind of interested in using my vocals and all that kind of stuff, and actually thought the idea was kind of interesting, so, kind of gave it a look over. Well, one of the random kind of things I used to end up, well, I was doing during this time is there were some people that were asking me if I could help them, figure out how to do this or that kind of thing, and if I had some kind of general idea, or found somewhere to actually look, find someone that actually does know how to do what they're looking for, and just kind of hook them up with them. Well, what kind of came from this whole idea of, getting an avatar is the being you see in front of you. Because this actually originally was my avatar for when I was doing the singing. Like at these little like random performances at theirs and they're doing all that kind of stuff. Which during this whole time I kind of started noticing as the music part kind of seemed like it was taking a little more effect. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm being like pulled in by like really big names or anything like that. No, it's just basically this is like a network of like somewhat kind of familiar names to the regions and all that kind of stuff. Because I mean, this wasn't just, all places I could physically go to. It's like, no, it's access to people like all around the world kind of thing that, just kind of like come together in this place to, find, what they're looking for and all that kind of stuff. And I know I'm probably actually saying a little bit more than I probably should on that because I'm almost forgetting there are certain lines of stuff that I gotta actually be a little careful on how I speak because I do still have like NDAs on that. But sorry, just well, so I ended up going to see someone that I'd actually helped someone previously find because they were someone that was actually interested in getting a PNG model and they didn't really know where they might be able to find one or generally what would be the prices of one. So they were like, hey, just kind of as like a favor, if you end up stumbling upon this, could you just kind of let me know? And it's like, yeah, sure, why not? And there was a time when it's like I'm not really doing much. I was like, I just kind of like look around and all that kind of stuff. And I was stumbling through Fiverr. I know, probably a little random of a place, but uh, surprisingly, if you wind up getting a decent kind of like deals on getting models made and stuff like that, there are a couple people on there, but there was someone that I was originally chatting with, and I'm not 100% sure if they went with them or not. But yeah, I was sitting there kind of chatting with them to get like a general idea, and I ended up, well, I don't know if it was them or just what chatting with people that I think I might have just been reading a lot of reviews and they seemed pretty positive. But yeah, so I sat there and suggested him to this person. But so around this time that I was gonna go get this model made, I was like, well, let me just kind of get a hold of them and sit there and see what they think. Cause I mentioned, more likely I'd be sitting there having to, stream out with, you know, character and all that kind of stuff. So just want to make sure, I'd have like full rights to all that kind of stuff. Because I know sometimes, some people don't like. I don't know. There's like some technical kind of stuff that, anyways. um. So yeah, had them sit there and draw, kind of design up this character for me, and just kind of left it at that, and agreed to work with them and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so back then this was originally just designed for being my essentially singing uh, model, which I mean they generally end up having like a lot of them after a while of me sitting there working with them actually were a bit of like smart asses, and they went and got um, like little like thing assets that essentially they would sit there and put on me. Which a lot of times was just them sitting there getting assets made that would match stuff for like their band and all that kind of stuff, which I didn't really mind. Although there was actually one person that uh, apparently was able to get me set up on a way that Because, well, with my camera, I can't really do much more than have the face tracking, but they were able to actually have my, you know, well, because this is actually full rig. It's just I can't move the arms right now because uh my camera can't pick. Well, it doesn't pick that up correctly. But so that's actually why at some point I want to actually try to get a better camera kind of thing. Although I do know there are some people saying you can kind of cheat it with Connect, but I'm like, I don't think I want to go, that rigged. Okay, so but yeah, so I was in there using this for that for quite some time, and I was still kind of like checking out VTubers and all that kind of stuff, and I started kind of getting more like curious. I'm like, well, streaming actually seems really fun, and this would actually be ought to be something that could help me kind of get out of my rut, meet new people, and I'm already kind of having fun making friends with people across different channels, and there was quite a few people that started noticing we watch the same kind of random people because I'd see their name in chats of like 4 or 5 different other streamers that I randomly just was like, hey, let me check this person out, which is always kind of cool. uh, Sorry, I just get a little wound up. But there was actually a point during this whole process that I had also been kind of toying around with something because I was, well, one of those random jobs I had been doing for a while was doing a little bit of story writing, and I had stumbled upon a old story that I'd sat there and been working on for a couple of years that I, I'll admit, I went a little haywire with that story because it had so many characters and had so much kind of going on it, but I enjoyed the story, because it was something that, I kind of just came up with and I was worked on for so long. I was like, you know what? Maybe if I can trim this down, take a little bit out of some of this, maybe if I do decide to do the VTubing thing, I could use this in my lore. So, I started, kind of trimming it down a bit and whatnot. And I was like, well, maybe I can't use the same avatar that I had from singing because, well, since it's part of this whole kind of group kind of thing, I mean, technically at the time I only had, well, I wasn't the only person that actually paid into the cost. So, I mean, I kind of like owned it like 80% of the way. But I was like, well, I don't really think that'd be a great idea because that'd be kind of like mixing around the two. But then there was actually a time that one of the contracts I ended up, going to sign with, they didn't pay. They couldn't pay or something like that. And, well, the, people that sat there and helped me pay for the model kind of felt bad about that. And they're like, hey, we're actually kind of curious. And just, say no if you want to, but we could, since you're kind of like short on your payment, we could just sign off, complete ownership of your model off. That way you can end up just freely using it for whatever you want. Just in case, something like this ends up kind of like happening or stuff like that. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So by this point, I'd already toyed around with I was already toying around with the idea of changing around a story I wrote to serve as lore, I now had a VTuber model that, was complete 100% mine to do with whatever I wanted with. I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know if I want to, like, stream or anything like that, or, just kind of try this out. I don't think my computer at the time could sit there and handle that. Because I had a different computer back then. Which we're getting close to why all this kind of changed. Because there was one day, as I was watching a stream, well, actually watching 4 streams, um, on one of the monitors while I was working on a couple of different things on the other, my computer was like, hey, we need to update. Um, and the computer auto updated, and in that moment, apparently my motherboard and my graphics card kind of stopped working. And it wasn't a complete problem with it. It's just when it went to go try to restart, uh, well, it was running into some slight issues because apparently the part of the motherboard that did kind of lose functionality was the part where my hard drive goes. So it couldn't find any operating systems. But one of the other problems I had during this was I actually, to this day, actually don't fully know if like everything in that hard drive is actually recoverable or not. Because that was the only place I actually had the copy of my story. I had already, decided to start moving towards trying to VTube, and I was already, making modifications and posting up, uh, you know, parts of the like story in little sections onto my Reddit. Because by this point, since I'd already started up, uh, like doing, like started up, deciding to sit there and be like, okay, I'm gonna give VTubing a shot, just something fun to end up doing. Uh, yeah, so I ended up losing that story, which was quite depressing, but then also meant that the part that I'd already put out was a shortened up version of the original story, and now I have to essentially rewrite the story from memory. But then I was also realizing this would end up being a lot longer because one of the main things, well, one of the parts that I decided to do that to cut down on the how long the story was going to be was I actually had to decide not to give every person that me or one of my companions interacted with their individual name and background. Because doing that for thousands of characters does make the story a bit long. So I actually had to not only cut down a lot of that, but I was like, I want the lore to probably be a little more closer to like PG-13. So cut out a lot of that stuff too. uh, so it was like cutting out any sexual stuff and anything too gory, but then also removing all those names, and I also cut uh, the like my group of the group of companions in half because there was too much extra stuff that I had ended up doing with that. But with the half that cut out, I kind of roughly transferred relative kind of abilities that they end up kind of meeting into on the story, and uh, so kind of just moved along with it that way. But that also meant a lot of the story had to keep changing as I was going. So for a little while there, I couldn't actually work on any of this because, well, like I said, the computer had crashed. I had to wait a little bit and get some assistance with my computer just to kind of get where it would limp along for a little while because after it, you know, wouldn't turn back on, I had freaked out and I'm like, okay, well, I need this running if I'm going to be trying to, do the VTubing kind of thing. This also pointed out to me that thing was too ancient to end up doing anything like that. I probably would have burnt it out the first time I tried to launch, uh, you know, like try to, just launch my model. So I had decided to, well, I saw during a stream, someone advertising a PC, and I was like, let's see what they got for a pre-built, because I'm not like not savvy enough with technology to do that myself. So I was like, yeah, we'll just kind of see what they got there. Well, so I went and picked out. I'm trying to remember what brand this is. Well, they basically had uh, an elite build kind of thing, or performance build, or something like that. That I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna end up going with this one. But at that same time, since I was already planning on doing the VTubing thing, I had been saving up money to try to do that, so I could have had things, ready to go. But now I needed to buy a decently expensive PC, and I had also been sitting there already paying off debts that I had. I kind of ran into a slight issue. I had to take all the money that I had saved, pull money off of the amount that I'd already paid back off of my lines of credit, and open up an entire new line of credit just to end up getting that PC. So by this point, I had 3 lines of credit, and my entire bank account drained out just to make sure I could pick up that PC, because I wanted to make sure not only that I could actually do the VTubing thing, but also finish up basically a bunch of jobs that I already signed on for, because at this time I was still suffering from insomnia. I couldn't sleep or anything like that. So it took a little while, and I had, like I said, I had some help getting my old PC just kind of holding on long enough for the new one to show up. And I kept kind of just working off of the stuff like that, but it was a little difficult because I had now also wanted to be like, okay, well, I don't want to debut until after I've got the lore up, but now I no longer have access to the file that the story was based off of. So I got to rewrite all this from scratch. I think I might have already sat there and said. So I just started typing up as much as I could each day when I had some spare time. And it took a couple months. I think I put up my last post, I think, like mid July. Originally would have said June, but I realized, like I said earlier, apparently I debuted on, I think it said the 26th of July this year, which strangely was also around the time that I started having some progress with getting rid of my insomnia. It wasn't great progress, let me tell you. I mean, I was at least able to sleep, if you could really call it sleep. Like maybe getting like 10-minute nap in every 12 hours. 8 to 12 hours, something like that. Uh, but sorry. I keep just kind of looking around between the screens, even though it's like I literally have my model plastered up on one screen, and then on the other screen is streams where I have my face plastered up on the screen. So I don't know why I keep looking back and forth. But yeah, so I had to keep like, well, I basically rewrote all of the story, and it kept changing a lot during that, which something I believe I noticed the last time I read back through my lore. I was in such a rush that it's not actually explained why my first name is Dragonus, because technically that's not my character's name. It's his title as leader of Dragonius, which doesn't exist in my lore anymore because I forgot to type it up. But yeah, that's why I generally end up just going by the nickname Zerk, even though it probably confuses people because that's literally like dead center of the whole name. Uh, Sorry, just speaking there. Uh, but yeah, so I kept kind of like just going through those kind of things. I was trying to figure out how to do a lot of stuff for a little while here, and then it finally started rolling around the time after I got everything, like got the whole like lore finished up and all that kind of stuff. That's when some of the nerves started settling in, being like, okay, you're about to, you know, put yourself out there. It's, you know, essentially doing it for like my own health kind of thing, because it's like I kind of felt like I needed to not only sit there in the chat rooms, you know, talking to people. I felt like I wanted to like step out of my comfort zone, go in front of the camera. I may not have the nerve essentially to do it, you know, as a like regular live streamer, but being a VTuber gives you the opportunity to be, you know, like show people who you are in a way, what you know, your values are, what kind of person you know, are, kind of thing. And I kind of felt like I needed that. Uh, Regardless of how, like, if anybody even, you know, got interested in me or anything like that, I kind of felt like I needed at least, like, the outlet to just kind of be myself. So I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot. And in a weird way, because I kind of noticed as I was rewriting the, like, rewriting my lore, parts of the stuff that I was putting in there kind of just hinted at struggles I was going through, and like it may be like many layers deep of like that kind of stuff, but I don't know. It's like I kind of like felt like I needed to, just step out here, and I didn't know what was gonna end up happening, so I'm not gonna try to hope for anything spectacular to randomly happen out of nowhere. It's not like I thought I'd step on here and be like, hey everybody, how's it going? And all of a sudden have like 3,000 people. No. I know there's a struggle. And don't get me wrong, I thought, like, I actually, while being on Twitch, I started discovering a lot of smaller streamers that it's quite fun to stop by and, just hang out with them. Don't always have to sit there and chat with them, as it kind of seems, but it's always nice to just kind of be there, for them, and kind of let them know that, you may not be like the most chatty person, but, they always just kind of appreciate the occasional, hey, how's it going? Make sure that, their day's going alright and all that. And generally, they'll sit there and ask you how you're doing and all that kind of stuff. You get a little more like a personal kind of level when they're not having to pick through. Well, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm sort of saying they prefer it that way or anything like that, but you end up kind of noticing when you're in a smaller streamers kind of chat, which obviously I don't see myself as that like anything. I'm obviously a small streamer, kind of micro at the moment, but that's besides the point. Uh, but it always just kind of seemed nice to end up, stopping by there and just chatting with them, and so I just kind of figured it's like I kind of wanted to have the opportunity to do stuff like that myself. Now, don't get me wrong, I also thought of a lot of things that I like to do, but it all takes different steps. Uh, but yeah, so it eventually got to when I was gonna start streaming, and well, that. Uh, so yeah, I'm actually going to kind of take a break here for a moment, because as I've been kind of chatting, it's like I realized I kind of need to hit the restroom, so uh, we'll pick up with when I, my very first stream, when I come back from. I just realized how weird that's going to sound. When I come back from the bathroom, well, technically it's more like a little bit of a break, just because I have to need to kind of stretch my legs, because I've been just sitting here for like an hour and a half. But yeah, so we're going to take a short little break here, and I'll be right back. Hello. Alright, let me get this switch back around. Okay. There we go. Yeah, sorry I needed to take an extra, like, couple of minutes, kind of stretch my legs, get something cold to drink. Okay, so I left off with when, oh, in case anybody was actually kind of curious, uh, that music that was playing, that was just a random little project kind of thing, when I was messing around with sound mixing back in like August. But I still kind of like mess around on that every once in a while. Kind of trying to do some cover stuff and whatnot, but I'm apparently missing like a program or two or something. But I don't know why I thought I needed to like switch something over for a second there. I'm like, no, I'm live right now. Okay. But yeah, so when I started streaming, I already kind of figured I probably wouldn't see too many people or anything like that. Uh, I actually thought there might have been some people that were kind of curious because as I was posting up my sections of lore over, well, it's like I started back in like March, and like I said, I finished putting the last one up, like the sections of the story in like I believe like mid July. This is like 29 parts. Which I know I chose a different platform to post them up on, but Reddit was the only one that seemed like it would allow a bigger volume of like characters and like the thing. Like you could actually put a couple paragraphs instead of just here you're limited down to like two sentences. um, so I ended up posting up the sections as I typed them up onto Reddit, and when I sat there and finished putting all those up, I sat there and noticed I was generally getting around like something like 50 to like 200 views on each of the sections of the story. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's people that are actually, I might actually see, at least like 10 to 20 people maybe on the debut, since I posted up my debut date uh like I think a week beforehand or something like that. Well, yeah, I sit there and go live. I go to do my whole introduction kind of thing, and like I end up going like after my introduction, I went over the entirety of my lore after kind of showing people off my model, introduce myself, all that kind of stuff. Go over like my whole model, uh, the lore and all that kind of stuff. Streamed for 9 hours straight. Didn't realize until after the fact. I didn't have it where it held uh, the video from the stream enabled on Twitch, even though it only gives it to me for like a week. But I also went back and checked the VOD from, well, because I'm using Streamlabs, which, yeah, I know a lot of people are like, what, Streamlabs, why? You OBS is better. I was basically, from what I was reading, Streamlabs is generally good for people trying to get introduced into streaming kind of stuff, which technically even the way back like many years ago I did streaming, but that was a whole different kind of like category of like streaming. I was in a closed circuit and it was within a company kind of thing. So it wasn't really, truly streaming kind of thing. I didn't have to worry about, well, what I was saying or anything like that because, well, most of the time we are just going over, the work related kind of stuff. Uh, so I had realized I got like no like viewers through that whole thing, but I'm like, okay, whatever. I have already set up, you know, a VOD channel kind of thing. At least I thought I did. It wasn't really set up correctly. Uh, I just put the VOD up on there. I didn't realize since I was using a same mic as some of my singing, the mic was blown. Like it didn't pick up any of my audio because normally I have the settings a little different for that. Well, apparently the ones just for me to generally kind of chat and all that kind of stuff weren't functioning correctly. Then I also went back and double checked things on my settings as I went to try to do another video. I noticed the audio is really low. So my first couple of streams didn't give me the greatest impression on streaming because well, anybody that even sits there and checks out my VOD channel, because my first video on there is my 7.5 hour video on lore, but you'll probably have to crank the volume the hell up because it kind of sounds like I'm whispering. But, as time kind of went on, I found, well, I basically just kept like screwing around with my settings between the microphone and Streamlabs until I actually got okay sounding like volume, but my like all the like it still sounded pretty bad. Which then, as I was watching a stream one of the random days, I was checking out one of well, he changed his streamer name because it used to be something different, but now he's just Blushy VT. Uh, he does like voice acting and stuff like that. So he was answering some other people's random questions. And I was like, this might sound a little random, well, a little strange, but just out of curiosity, what would you suggest for a mic? Because I need to replace mine because it's blown out. And he suggested, well, I believe one that's similar to my current setup because I think he might have actually been talking about another one on their line. But oh, hello Jeffrey. Welcome in. Well, Jeffrey Diets, yeah. Welcome in. Thank you, and thank you for the follow. But so as I was in their channel with him, he mentioned the AT2020. Well, I didn't realize for that. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. How's it going? I hope you enjoy. Thank you for following and coming on in. Relax and stay well. But yeah. So how are you doing, buddy? I'm doing all right, but this is something a little kind of new for me to kind of just covering, how I ended up getting into the streaming and, kind of just going off on like how everything's progressing so far with all that kind of thing. Normally, I'm just I have like a brief introduction and then I jump straight into a video game. That's kind of how streaming's been for a little while here. But, okay, so where was I at? Yeah, so he sat there and had suggested a similar mic to the one I have right now. I didn't realize at that time. Not at the moment. I'm not playing a game. I'll say normally I do play video games, but today's just a little different. And believe me, probably after I'm done kind of going over this kind of stuff, I probably will be jumping into a game. Yeah, but oh, how long have you been streaming? I actually started back as well. I was just kind of like mentioned this as I was kind of covering a couple of my first streams, but I've been streaming since July. Well, the 26th of July. So, only a couple of months. Yeah. But, yeah, so, like I was saying, he had suggested to get. Oh, really? Yeah. I haven't really been streaming for too long, but, things been kind of picking up a little bit recently. Yeah. But, yeah, because technically it's still the same kind of mic. I just ended up uh, going with like a slightly different version that I actually hook up to my computer a little easier. Because there was actually something I had to like buy to like adapt to it and all that kind of stuff, and it just wasn't working out. So I had to like uh, switch it up there. But so then ever since I got the new mic, I kept you know as I noticed like the sound quality was a lot better, and so I started streaming some more. And after a while, I think you have yeah, that's actually gonna be part of the stuff that I'm covering here in a little bit. There's like my general goals for what I want to try to accomplish with this. But yeah, so it was kind of as I noticed my like sound quality ended up getting fixed and all that kind of stuff, and I started streaming more. I started noticing the growth was very slow and casual, but then after several streams, can I know your go to buy? I'm about to get. I'm about to get to that part, but okay, one second. But yeah, so like I ended up kind of just getting lucky a little bit more recently. It kind of seemed where as I started streaming more on a regular basis, some more people started kind of like coming in, and I'm like, okay, well, one of my small goals I wanted to sit there and try to accomplish, or even though I thought at the time it might be slightly unrealistic, is well, as you just kind of mentioned there, my goal by the end of the year is I want to hit affiliate, which, strange enough, the only thing that's actually holding me off from affiliate is having a 30-day average of 3 viewers per, like, yeah, having a viewer average of 3 viewers, which currently has been a little low, but we're getting there. I mean, as more people have been following, have more people kind of stop in, chatting and all that kind of stuff. Uh, I mean, something I actually didn't realize was technically a small separate goal because I thought VIPs were uh, like the VIP badge kind of things you can end up giving people. I thought that was also part of being affiliate, but no, apparently I just got to end up having 5 people chat in a single stream at the same time. uh, but yeah, so currently one of my goals is to actually get affiliate by the end of the year. Uh, which I mean, like I said, the viewer, like average viewer count is going up. Hasn't quite hit that yet. Um, yeah, actually, cause Joker just asked, did I have a promoter? Uh, yeah, actually, strangely enough, Originally, James Play, my uh, mod, he ended up originally just kind of starting out by someone that swung by. I was like, hey, I like what you're doing. And as we kind of like chatted, like I found out that he ran like a blog channel kind of thing, and I was like, okay, well, he was interested in just kind of like writing a little story about me and one of my favorite games that I play, and which I haven't gotten all the videos up onto the VOD channel yet, but uh, I play a lot of played a lot of Zenless Zone Zero for a while there, but okay, that was great. Yeah. Which, yeah, I kind of noticed the first week after that VOD went up, not VOD, the blog went up, they wrote about me. I went from having uh, 12 followers to like over 100. Because I see your channel on blog website. Oh, okay, so I'm guessing you end up seeing it on, yeah, his website. Well, the blog website. Um, yeah, like after he said there and promoted it, and we kept kind of chatting afterwards, and uh, I was like, hey, well, if you're gonna be hanging out and all that kind of stuff, and he seemed kind of interested. He's like, "Could I be one of your mods?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." I mean, it's always good to end up having a mod around just in case something ends up going bad. We've worked through a couple of little kinks here and there. Yeah. Yeah. Went from like 12 to, well, over 100, I should say. But, yeah. And the numbers have been, climbing a little bit since then. So, at least my name's kind of getting out there a little bit more. Uh, but again, when I was starting this off, it's like I didn't really think, really too much of it. Like I wasn't like planning on this being anything like big originally, but as time kind of went on, it's like, well, there are some things that as I've kind of been watching different streamers and stuff like that, that I kind of feel like you know might be kind of good if it ends up kind of happening. Yeah, James is doing a good job, but so I started kind of thinking, I'm like, well, if I can hit affiliate by the end of the year, maybe then I might end up starting to get a little more viewership and all that kind of stuff. Then after hitting affiliate, generally you might end up having a little better luck, making it to partner. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting that to end up happening like rapidly or anything like that. It's like aim for affiliate by the end of this year, maybe partner next year. But it started to make me think, well, maybe depending on how this all ends up going, I might want to just kind of have some other goals for way down the line, potentially if it ends up kind of happening. Well, so I started kind of thinking about that, and it's like, yeah, I mean, after making it to like partner or something like that, huh? Make money. Oh, will you like to make money on Twitch? Um, in all honesty, it'd actually be kind of really. I started thinking it would actually be kind of interesting if I actually, was able to do well enough on Twitch to possibly, make it a full time job kind of thing. I don't really think that's gonna be something that's gonna, happen anytime soon. But it would be nice if, when I start, like, if I could actually start making money on Twitch to be able to not only do more stuff for the channel and kind of help do stuff for like the general community that I end up building. But I'd also like to be able to kind of cause more like influence throughout the general communities of Twitch itself. It'd be kind of cool if not only when like I don't like not just me gaming all the time, but being able to sit down, chat with you guys, just get to kind of like know each other, kind of thing. Maybe not have to be working all like working a day job just to sit there and try to be able to afford keep bills paid and all that kind of stuff, and keep trying to slowly but surely make improvements to the channel. But I'd also like to talk with you guys about other people that you end up following. What kind of cool people you've met through Twitch and all that kind of stuff. Introduce you to people that I've met. You know, show you like some of the streamers that I started like following and uh, being part of their communities before essentially those communities themselves, kind of had enough of an influence on me that I decided to become a streamer myself. If you can tell James to help you to post your channel to Medium platform, you'll make a lot of money. Well, I thought James was in here. He's probably lurking right now. But, yeah, I was gonna say, me and James tend to talk between streams and all that kind of stuff, too. We're kind of working on something right now, but... Okay, one second. I need to take a drink real quick. Okay, so... But, I mean, yeah, not only that, it's like... It'd be kind of cool to... Well, besides, like, gaming and chatting, I want to be able to do, like, more crafting kind of stuff. Yeah, it's making money there. Nice. Like I said, that's something I could sit there and talk with James about. But, sorry. $300 for a stream. Nice. But, okay, sorry, but, like I was saying, like, not only gaming and chatting, but, doing, like, kind of, like, crafting kind of things, or, just kind of come up with, like, random kind of things, just end up, dealing with the community itself. But, also, yeah, like, it'd be kind of cool to probably be recognized enough that, some of those people that I enjoyed watching, to collab with them or something like that. Um, like I said, not only, probably get introduced to new people, through you all, but, to also introduce you guys to, people that I've met and, well, not exactly met, but, I mean, like, other streamers that, yeah. Sorry. I know I'm kind of looping a little bit on what I'm kind of saying there. Like I said, well, like I was saying earlier, I'm not normally used to just kind of sitting here and straight up like chatting. Normally it's just like chatting every once in a while with, someone, and, well, during stream or whatever like that while I'm playing a game. But, um, but, so those are just kind of like maybe some like smaller kind of goals I'm aiming for. But something else that would be kind of, oh, where are you from? I am from the United States. Yeah, state bound. uh, And strange enough, I actually get that question a lot because apparently it does sound like I have a bit of an accent. I'm guessing probably might have, been, general thing there. Yeah. uh, Sorry, now I'm just kind of blanking for a second here. But, oh yeah, well, so that kind of like roughly covers, where I was at and where, kind of midst, where we're currently, well, yeah, what brought me here and, what, where we're currently at and all this. You're from Germany? Nice. Uh, oh, dang it, I forgot how to actually say it. Because I was gonna try to, say hello in German, but then I forgot how to say it. uh, because, yeah, strangely, something that, well, I never actually quite picked up on it, but as I was performing music with a bunch of different bands, I never actually learned exactly how to speak the languages, but I was taught how to say the words for the songs, which was real interesting when, you're singing a song in a language you have no idea what you're saying, even though you're given a, well, they generally give me like a rough translation of what, I was saying in it, but it's kind of weird, doing that in like 14 different languages. I think it was something like that. Because, I mean, I normally do in English, but then there was also Spanish, French, German, Russian, Slavic, a little bit of Japanese, some Chinese, Greek, and probably a whole bunch more that I'm forgetting. But, sorry, kind of going a little bit mind blank here. But, yeah, so as yet currently stands, pretty close to, just generally accomplishing that my little goal for, just starting off so late in the year. Because, yeah, like I said, the 26th of, like, July, so I was like, what, 5 months ago? Wow, I've only been streaming for 4 months. Well, technically not even because, still like 3 days off from that. But yeah, so currently, yeah, that'd be kind of the plan. Just hopefully end up making it to affiliate before the end of the year, uh, which hopefully is accomplishable because I do stream every single day. I mean, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. EST. Uh, and then, well, weekends, that's just kind of a little random. I just normally put like a start time around noon and we just go from there. Today was a little later just because I needed to get some stuff straightened out for, well, this. uh, but, I mean, depending on how far I could end up taking this stuff, I kind of have some really random plans for the future. Like, if I grow large enough, I would like to sit there and make it where, I don't know if you've ever been part of one of those kind of like raids where, you're in like a chat with like 2,000 people or something like that. And, everybody's just kind of having like a fun time, whatever. But comes time to when like the streamer wants to end. And then they're like, well, normally they have like their own like normal group of people that they raid into. But occasionally you'll have one of those streamers where they're like, yeah, let's go find someone that's got less than 10 viewers and just raid into them. Sit there and see, try to brighten up their day. And I not only want to be able to be one of those kind of people that gives those like small streamers a chance to end up getting like a bunch of new viewers or something like that. Help them grow. So I we all struggle. We all just want to end up being a herd. Have some people out there to just understand us. And when you become a streamer, you're trying to put yourself out there, and it's a little difficult sometimes when you know the like well, it's a little hard to keep motivated if like you're trying your hardest and just nobody's showing up. And I always thought it'd be kind of a cool idea that if I ever had the opportunity and grew large enough to do one of those kind of things, I'd be like to be that person that not only shares my my community with other streamers that I end up already knowing, but finding those smaller kind of streamers that seem like they're trying to do something great, but just need that extra little push and be there to kind of be like, hey, people, let's go check this person out today. That being said, also, probably by that point, if I'm one of those kind of, well, if I end up being one of those kind of streamers where, I have like that large of a group, by that point, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't probably need to end up having my day job anymore. So I'd probably be able to do more full time streaming, which then, I'm going to be honest, if I had the freedom to, stream as much as I wanted and not have to worry about going to earn extra money, you'd probably be seeing me stream for like 12 to 16 hours a day. And granted, there'd be times I would need to actually, leave the house to, touch grass and, you know, buy groceries, all that kind of stuff. Actually, breathe fresh air. But, uh, yeah, and technically, if I ever did become a full time streamer, I had an idea for I guess it's kind of like a subathon, only a bit different. But I'm not gonna really mention that at the moment because that's really far off kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, by that point, like I was there saying, if I was actually a full time streamer and all that kind of stuff, then now that I want to do that, I mean, I want to like collab with a whole bunch of people. I want to sit there and be able to do like charity events. Uh, Probably during like those crafting kind of streams. Did you know about backlinking? No, but I mean, like I was saying, I'd like to sit there and be able to do stuff like like help out like charities and stuff like that. Do random like performances with other people. Uh, Backlinking for Twitch refers to practice of obtaining links from other websites or platforms that direct users to your Twitch channel. These backlinks can be valuable for improving your channels. Oh, okay. That's something I'll probably have to look into a little bit. But, what was I saying? uh, but yeah, and also something I'd also like to kind of show off a little bit with my abilities or kind of skills I have is one of my hobbies I like to end up doing was metalsmithing. And it'd be kind of cool if there was ever a time that I was trying to do something like merch or something like that, if I could end up basically forging something for that merch. Give it that personal touch. Which more likely would be probably something kind of like a like coin with like my emblem that's well that emblem the probably like a coin with like maybe this like kind of crest on it or something like that. Was something kind of cool to end up doing for like a random merch idea if I ever got to that point. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just reading the message real quick there. But yeah, I'll definitely have to look into that, Jeffrey. Thank you. I mean, I don't know, there's just like so much that, if I end up having the opportunity, I'd end up probably trying to end up doing with this channel. But, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to try getting my hopes up too high or anything like that, because you never know what the hell life's going to throw at you. So, kind of figure best, bet here is just to kind of, you know, go with the flow and see how things end up going. Um, I mean, I believe that kind of roughly covers the main stuff that I wanted to talk about. Uh, I mean, well, no, I kind of did leave out an important kind of thing there. Uh, I'm sure we could end up doing that, but I don't think that's something I should probably be trying to do in the middle of stream. But we can end up probably talking about that on like you can end up helping me figure that out probably after stream or something like that. I know if you follow the Discord, we can end up like trying more on there too. Which the Discord link should actually be accurate now. I just updated it for stream today. Uh, okay, but well, no, I think I generally did end up kind of covering that. I do want to generally try to build a community where it doesn't really matter if you're. Huh? What is your Discord username? One second. I could just end up probably putting the link into chat. Uh, that should be the link. Should take you straight to uh, the Discord. But yeah, I I like to sit there and be able to kind of like develop a chat where or a community where it doesn't matter if you're like an extrovert person, introverted, if you like to, lurk or, talk people's ears off, that, we could all just kind of freely coexist and try to help each other, grow, become stronger. Because, well, as it kind of ends up getting explained in my lore a little bit and all that kind of stuff, I mean, you've like wander in here and you follow. You're a wonderful traveler that has come to join our crew. But as time goes by and hopefully people start to subscribe, we all shall become one great legion of people that work together to try to kind of feel like try to better. Like everybody's kind of just experience out there, try to make lives better. I know I've just been kind of rambling for a while here. But, I mean, give me one sec as I kind of try to switch over some of the stuff here, because I wanted to go through a couple of little things, but I gotta change around how some stuff's set up right now. So just give me one moment. We'll be right back. Let me get that turned on. Let's have this play as I get things set up. Okay, I just realized I could actually switch something else over here real quick. Oh, it won't let me access that until I'm back in the live screen. Okay. I guess we'll be doing this live. Trying to get things sorted out. Yeah, by the way, like I was mentioning earlier, oh, sorry. Oh, that was a notification on Discord. But yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, this music's from me randomly messing around on Streamlabs. Oh, that's what I forgot. That needs to be adjusted. Okay, back to more live editing. should have that correct. Sorry, just trying to fix the framing of like the screen. Alright. We can stop this now. Okay, actually we're gonna be going over to the Discord here in a second anyways. But yeah, so what's my Discord name? Right there, Dragonus Berserk Zygmunt. Because this is my Discord channel. I was gonna sit there and say, anybody that, is generally kind of, interested. It's still technically under work right now. It's just the beginning of the server. I'm generally, welcomed in the area. Then I'll end up using announcements to sit there and let people know when I'm, going live, what I'm streaming, all that kind of stuff. We do tend to end up having, well, I tend to notice a decent amount of people coming in wanting to, promote stuff. Well, basically try to, like, they're noticing I'm, like, missing stuff from my channel, so they're always in there trying to, help me out or whatever, and try to, promote, like, some stuff they can end up doing to help me out, which, to, all of them out there, it's always much appreciated, but, they also need to kind of acknowledge I have bills to pay, so I can't always afford that stuff. One sec. Oh, wait, I'm doing that backwards. As you'll probably end up noticing, I'm not that, good with Discord just quite yet. Oop, let's not go into that. Add a friend, there we go. Sorry. Give me a second. It's not going to let me copy it from there. But yeah, I was just, Dip like mentioned that. I was like, yeah, I'm right here. There we go. Go. There we go. Alright. Anyhow. But yeah, I was using just that'd be like the announcement area for, letting people know when I'm streaming. People that are, trying to promote stuff, as I'm kind of, trying to lead people here, resources is where I don't mind people putting up stuff, like if they're trying to advertise, like, emotes or art or, that kind of general stuff. Stream schedule, we're still getting that one kind of figured out. But as it kind of like Saturn says here, gives you a general idea of when I'll be streaming and all that kind of stuff. And I really haven't done much else in the Discord. But then we also have my YouTube channel, which is where I've been posting up VODs. I'm a little behind on it because, well, kind of been busy between regular work and streaming and all that kind of stuff. So the views are a little behind, but as you can kind of see, Card Shop Simulator, Zilla Zone Zero, Monster Hunter Rising, uh, that has it. Oh, there's Monster Hunter World. Then, like I was mentioning, my first video on here from like 3 months ago was my lore. Uh, which I am working towards getting more of the videos done being edited and uploaded. I've messaged you on Discord. I noticed that, but I didn't think you wanted me to pull that up at the moment since, we're live. So, like I was gonna say, I probably, look at the messages here in a bit. When I go to like switch over to, when I go to switch over to like a game or something like that, I can like look at the message real quick and we could talk about it there. Okay. Talked about like the Discord, the VOD channel. I guess I technically talked about my BandLabs account, but that's just because that was somewhere I was toying around with that kind of stuff, like playing around with like video editing and all that. All right, the Reddit. Even though technically this is not the actual post, but just so you can kind of get a general idea. As I was saying, I wrote some lore, just, some, to cover the backstory of my character. So just to kind of give you a general idea of, because this was the full-ish lore of what I like wrote up for my VTuber account. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see. I actually can't see the icon where I'm on the page. Let me see when I reach the bottom. But the only reason why I didn't post this is because Reddit has a 40,000 character cutoff, and I believe this is around like 225 characters, or 225,000 characters, I should say. So I'd probably have to break it up into like 5 or 6 posts if I was to like try to release all that. This is also why my lore took me 5 hours to read, because I did a VOD covering that. Yeah. Post body cannot exceed 40,000 characters. But if I go to my, if I just go straight over to my account, yeah, you'll sit there and notice lower part 29 conclusion, because I had to like divide it up into a bunch of different little posts as I was writing them up. Which my YouTube, Discord, VOD channel, and I guess technically we can talk about it on Discord. Yeah. But yeah, like my Reddit, my Discord, YouTube channel, and technically my Twitter account are all linked on my channel. Oh, and I don't know why I was going to do this, but just so people have a general idea, the people I'm following. I gotta move this a little bit so people show up. Oh, and I'm in the way of some of them. But yeah, in case anybody ends up, kind of being curious if, I go to raid into someone, generally I'm raiding into someone that I'm following, and, well, just so you get a general idea of the random people I follow. Although, strange enough, I've only been on Twitch since like March, and I think I've run into a couple of different people to, watch and enjoy their content. But yeah, I think I'm currently following like 136 people or something like that. And one last thing that I wanted to kind of cover, um, well, I'm just gonna kind of like switch it back over to this for the moment. But yeah, if anybody's kind of curious, and I haven't actually gotten a link from them yet, but the person that actually made my model and is currently doing other works for me, the person I actually met on Fiverr. Oop. There we go. Is Finify Works, which, yeah, they're top rated. They do a lot of good work. They have like several different kind of like gig kind of things that they end up doing. So yeah, I've been kind of like going to them for different works, like got my model made with them. They're currently working on making my starting soon background screen kind of things. Well, the starting soon, be right back, and ending soon screens. Which at some point I am planning on probably going to them for a background for when I actually start doing more just talking kind of things. And also, there's going to be, well, depending on how things end up going in the future here, I'm going to be getting a lot of random toggles for my model because, well, anybody that reads my lore will end up knowing this is just the base form. I have someone that can help you do it. Okay. Like I said, we can end up. I appreciate that. Might end up having to look at that more after stream. Well, after I'm like done streaming today, or technically when I'm about to transition over, I guess I could end up looking at the Discord because I'm gonna be switching over to probably a game here in a little bit. But yeah, so I'm probably going to them for like my background and, well, as I was saying, for like different toggles and stuff because like I was just saying, this is just the base form of my model. The toggles will be for each of the different transformations that my model goes through or acquires powers, stuff like that. Which I figure to be kind of a cool little extra kind of thing going on. But I'm also go to them for like emotes and stuff like that once I actually reach affiliate because can't do any of that until after that. But with all that being said, I actually am about to try to switch over to a game. So we'll be going back to, well, I'll be popping back over to the Be Right Back. I'll be able to talk with you real quick, Jeffrey, on Discord, as I get everything switched over and ready for the game. But so everybody that's joined for my Gab session, just chatting away and all that kind of stuff. Thank you very much. We'll be switching over to, well, I don't know a game just quite yet. Actually, I kind of want to mess around on Pal World. I know I've been doing that a lot this week, but it's really fun. But yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna end up getting that switched over, and then we'll be right back with the game. All right.